Welcome back to the Journey Podcast. I'm your co-host, Jose Escalera.
And I am Emma Jackson.
And Emma, question for you.
Yeah.
I know, okay, it's not actually a question, but we both watch TikTok. Have you ever seen those British TikTokers that they come to America and they say, Americans do this, British do this?
Oh, yeah, I've seen that, yeah.
You seen those one that they say, like, Americans drive everywhere?
Yes, and I've also seen the fact that they're like, we could drive to another country in the time it takes you to drive in the same state.
Facts. I did not know you from, like, London to, like, France or some other places, like, 2 to 3 hours. And you're in.
Oh, yeah. No, did you know the tiniest country in Europe is Liechtenstein, and it's like 30 minutes to drive across?
For real?
Yep.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
But,
I have friends from there.
That's not. So where I was going with this, they have a funny one. There's like Americans always try to beat their GPS, right? So
It's like a video game.
This morning, I was supposed to be here at 8:00, right? And my GPS says 8:05, and I'm like, I texted you as like, be at the garage 8:05 to help me carry the coffees, and then I was like 8:03, and then I got here at 8:01.
Yeah.
But the scary part is in Texas, right? In Houston, right? We come from like kind of rural areas that we could drive like 50, 60 miles per hour confidently, right? 80-ish.
90.
Those back roads, right? But I put my car in like sports flip mode, like the fast version.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like going 40 on Alabama.
Okay, if you guys have never been to Houston, the roads are terrible. Literally, there are these beautiful trees, but beautiful trees means roots underneath, and I guess the city floods. So the streets are awful. And so I'm sure at 40 you were hitting air. There was like no
100%.
way you were not.
I got so scared. There was one time I'm like, I just effed up my car so bad.
No, I think it's a giant conspiracy theory to not fix the roads because you literally can't go above the speed limit because you will F up your car. So.
100%. So today's episode, we're going to focus on Broki.
Yeah, specifically what to do when you have a setback in your business and how you deal with adversity. When do you pivot? When do you give up? All of that good stuff. Because every single business, no matter how good things are going, at some point something is not going to go your way. Right now, we are in the process of launching a business that is a little bit more complicated than we had initially thought.
So let's clarify that. The actual creating of the business and the marketing and all that.
We got that in the bag.
Yes. When I say we, I might have underestimated the development phase of hair care products.
Let's run it back to a few months ago. Oh, pomade, four products. Or
four ingredients.
Yeah, you said four ingredients.
4 ingredients.
How hard can it be? 4 ingredients. And I was like, yeah.
The hard part is in the ingredients is the binding agents that you use in the ingredients to make sure that it's cohesive and it can last more than like 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's like if you're doing like water-based pomade, it when you press it doesn't like the water come out and it's kind of like not cohesive together.
Okay, what are the so you've given me a couple challenges. What version are you at right now? And then what's your plan?
So I need to order, let me tell you this. I need to make another supply order. I need to order like a more accurate scale.
Okay.
Kind of like a bigger scale. I want to order some more beacons. I think that's what it's called.
Beakers?
Beakers, thank you.
You're doing a whole science experiment. It's like
at this point I have to. It's getting like the measuring cups for my kitchen are not being as accurate anymore. And then my gram. So I started with ounces and cups. Now I'm going to grams because it's a little bit more easier to do the math and conversions.
Yeah, the whole rest of the world is on the whole metric system. There's a reason.
But then like the scale I currently have for I need like 0.2 grams. It's not giving me 0.2 grams. So I need to order a more.
You need one of those drug scales. I mean nutrition scales. Yeah, that'll get you where you need to be.
The one I want to buy is like it has a scale and then same time it's like a burner, so it turns on and it can heat up and.
Yeah, that's a real drug scale.
I don't know if it's a drug scale. I'm just saying it's.
Just don't get your apartment rated. Like, guys, I'm making pomade. I just want to make it clear. You want to try it out?
But yeah, so and then I decided to actually go away from like all full natural products like beeswax and getting more into like hyper focused concentrated chemicals, but they're not chemicals, they're more like beeswax just at the core root that element chain, and actually started building it that way.
That's super interesting. This is so typically when businesses come to us for, growing and launching their business, they have already developed their product. We do not do product development.
No,
so this is an interesting sort of pivot because we didn't really expect that there would be much product development. We thought it would be more product launching, business launching, all of that, you know?
Let's be real. We thought we were going to do a white label system,
Yep.
right? We're going to partner up with a white label and then kind of like actually run that. But there's no profitability at our price points.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's a lab that can actually manufacture our recipe. But before we can actually partner up with the lab to actually, they can mass produce the recipe.
You have to have the recipe.
You have to have the recipe.
Now you're
And
putting
then,
in the work.
yeah, and then if you want them to develop your recipe for you with a chemist, you're talking about like 50 G's or more.
Okay, so here's the thing. Our initial timeline was the trendy idea was launch a business with $10,000 in 1 month. What is that timeline looking like now? And like, I want to talk through how we're going to adapt our strategy to, rather than say, okay, this is harder than I thought, I want to quit. You know, what's your...
quit, Emma?
Oh, no.
We don't quit.
No.
We just kind of extend the timeline a little bit.
Yeah, no, but I honestly think we should extend it a lot, but in a good way. I was talking to someone recently who also runs a successful podcast here in Houston, and when I mentioned this whole content idea, we're like, yeah, we're just doing this like sub, playlist thing of just we want to show people the ins and outs of what it's like to launch and scale a business with $10,000. And she was like, that's like a whole year of content. And I was like, dang, you're right. And the thing is, at first I was like, yeah, but we're going to go through this process really quickly. But actually, now that we've hit this interesting challenge and this setback in terms of development time, I think it's great to extend Broki over a longer period of time and share with our audience those in-depth reports kind of as we get them to show that a real business does, like, this is us taking the twists and turns with the business.
You're talking about like sharing the SOPs and the KPIs, the performance of the company.
Yeah, and just like it's okay that development is taking longer and that we don't have this, I think we have this quick fix mentality in our generation, and also just we're so used to everything being done so quickly. Our phones load, everything is so quick. We have like quick delivery, all of that. And some things, sometimes the best things they take time, and it's not as sexy, but it's super important. And so that's my thought on it.
I mean, have you heard of that saying? It's like the path that, what is it? I can't remember the actual saying, but it's like the narrow path, the harder path is usually the more rewarding path.
Wait a second. Yes, I have. Do you remember when you sent me the other day this Joe Rogan clip that no, it wasn't Joe Rogan. It was
Alex
Hormozy.
Yeah.
It was super. Can you tell me about that again? The hard.
It
was about hard things and how we often think that hard things, like, okay, they suck, right? If you go through a hard path and it's really difficult. But he was saying, actually, I love hard things.
Yeah, pretty much, like, if I remember I'm trying to think so hard, but if I remember the video correctly, like you said, he's like, he loves hard things because he knows not a lot of people are going to actually do the hard things.
Exactly.
So even though like it's getting more difficult to be an entrepreneur every single year,
there are so few people that you're competing against, so your competition field just narrows down. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, it's like you're competing with yourself more than anyone else, because you're seeing and just how far you can outlast. So much of being an entrepreneur is consistency.
Yeah, that's a great topic. And we're saying the Broki scale, but have you ever thought that you know how they say, hey, your only competition is yourself? Like, you have to put the mirror up, and this is who you're competing against. But the reality is, like, if you think about that other video, we're only competing versus our KPIs from last year. Mm-hmm. We're only trying to improve our company. We don't look at anybody else's competitors. Mm-hmm. Broki in the long term, right? It's gonna be the same thing, right? We're gonna develop this company up to $5, $10, $20, $30 million, but it's gonna take a massive amount of efforts, massive delays, massive problems. When I was in college, one of my professors, he says the songs and the records that are best, come out the best in the studios, are the ones that have tears and suffering in them, because you have that pain in the record.
Oh, and you're going through the pain right now. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I did rip out my hair a couple days ago with some.
Oh, nice. No, I'm curious to know how, from your perspective, the setback, like, how do you kind of deal with setbacks? Because I have my own process for.
What is your process?
Well, I mean, first off, you have to isolate the problem, right? So what is it that's causing a setback? So
you go very analytical.
Yes, I have to be. I'm a total creative, but I'm forced to be analytical because I have to understand the problem so that we can fix it, right? So isolate the problem, which we've identified is that the you need a binding agent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
That was
then
that's one of the first problems I noticed.
mhm.
One of the first ones.
And then it's great to know what the problem is, but we really need to reevaluate our timeline and goals. So rather than just saying the timeline is pushed back, it's going to be harder and longer than expected, it's still, I find it super useful if we actually still set deadlines and goals, even if something else happens and we have to push that deadline farther back. So, for example, you said, okay, we're going to have completed product by the end of March. Now, what do you think? Jay, I'm going to put you on the spot here. What do you think a realistic new timeline is, knowing what you know now?
I think if this recipe that I'm cooking up works, once we do the new supply order, realistically, halfway through April, through the end of April, is when we're gonna have a viable recipe that we can then shop around for different laboratories and see which ones can manufacture at a bigger scale for us.
Solid. So then we basically write that down into our plan and we just adjust those timelines so that you still feel like you're making progress, but it's kind of adapted to where we're at now. And then the other thing I do is, there are a couple of really important things. Don't beat yourself up. I am the kind of person that if I do experience a setback, it can be hard. Really, I take it very personally, and I think
Really?
because I set myself, you know this
I'm
about
like,
me.
yeah, but I'm
Well,
like,
but I set my timelines, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, and da da da, and then sometimes life just gets in the way, and whatever it may be. So don't beat yourself up, but set yourself to new, like I said, timelines and
I
expectations.
think I'm weird. I don't. I do identify the problem, but I don't identify the problem. Like, for example, I'm like, cool, the recipe's not cooking. What can I do? Nothing. Just gotta order more supplies. I just keep working it.
I think that's weird. I think that's actually healthy because you're not internalizing the problem. Sometimes I internalize, and that's something I've been working on, is I would think, oh, I'm the problem. I have had, that whole negative thought. Like, if I was going through that and I was not in a great place, I would maybe think, oh, I just suck at this. This should be simple. And I think, honestly, I was a gifted kid growing up in like the little gifted classes, and I've seen a lot of this on TikTok where like when a lot of things came easy to you as a kid and then you struggle to understand
You are
challenges
very
and
smart.
not internalize them. I'm smart in like specific areas, right? But then when you're not used to struggling and you're not used to chat, like, which is normal and that's how you grow. There's no way you can do something the first time and just be amazing at it. Like, that doesn't exist, right? You might have a natural talent for it, but you're still going to have to work at it. And I think that's a skill that you have to work on. I think it's a skill you're really good at, which is doing something, learning from what didn't work or what did work, and then kind of adjusting, and you don't take it personally and you just like keep on rolling. And I admire that so much, and I'm working to get
The
there.
only time I do beat myself up is when it comes to like our bank account situations or money situation where I invested it into like, for example, like I was kind of salty. I spent X amount of money in the first couple rounds of products. Like I ordered so much Vaseline, because I was trying to. It was one of those recipes we were experimenting with. Like,
Mm-hmm.
um, I did regret that. I'm like, damn, I spent like $30 and or 30-40 bucks on Vaseline and I didn't even use it.
That's so much Vaseline. Do you need to make a Vaseline donation to, I don't know who, maybe like
Yeah,
Babies R Us?
because I was forecasting I was gonna do a lot of different variations of the base recipe, the first recipe I found online.
And then you were like, okay, just kidding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just scratch this. Like Vaseline isn't the way to go. It's like
Yeah.
super
Well,
greasy.
that's such an interesting point of how testing, you can be so sure of one direction and then the data you get back or just, tells you, oh no, I actually need to be in this direction. I like that you're so open to that because there are also a lot of founders I encounter who are so dead set on this one particular way that they would have tried 100 ways with beeswax, and 100 ways with
After
Vaseline before being like, maybe that's not going to
Yeah,
work.
after beeswax ripped my hair off, I started diluting that really quick, like really quick. I don't. The beautiful thing about Broki at the end of the day is yes, it's the project's gonna be delayed, but the delay isn't a negative thing. It's gonna give us more time to actually put the KPIs, put the SOPs, procedures in place, build the company stronger.
Mm-hmm.
The product's gonna be better. I saw like in one of the versions of Pound Made, my scalp got really dry,
Mm-hmm.
so that was kind of interesting. I haven't had dandruff since I was a kid. I'm like, what the hell's going on with my scalp? I had to give my scalp a little break. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Mm-hmm.
like it's cool that I'm seeing all the negative side effects of the experimentation, and I can see what is causing that to happen. Like some of the products
Mm-hmm.
we put are the one that dried my scalp. Was an alcohol based product that I use, And I'm like, cool, negative. Let's not do this. This is no bueno. It's gonna kill somebody's scalp. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Bad thing is, I'm experimenting in my own body. Can't be the great thing for me, but
Hey, you're a great test subject.
yeah. But no, at the end of the day, I feel confident enough that we're gonna succeed.
Okay, so that's great. I love the confidence, but I also know that confidence alone doesn't necessarily get us
Wow.
across the finish line, especially when you experience multiple setbacks. So something else I think is super important, and I think I can provide this for you at this stage, is accountability. Because it works so well when you are not the only one responsible for making something happen, but you have someone else that's watching you, right?
That's
Whether
weird.
it's a weight loss goal, whether it's a goal, a personal goal or a business goal, just telling someone else, hey, I'm gonna do this by X time, so that there's someone out there in the ether that knows. Because boy, some of us are good at lying to ourselves, or we'll say, oh no, there's a very real reason why I have to push this back and blah blah blah. And sometimes it's just important to have someone else like me that kind of pokes you. It's like, hey, how's it going over there? I haven't heard from you for a while. What's the update?
You want to know a secret?
Yeah.
That makes me mad. It makes me mad because at the end of the day, it isn't like the accountability aspect I like. Um, I like more of like when the product is good enough to share, I want to share it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like my perfectionist that comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And see, I don't need to see what you're working on, but I do just want to check in and say, hey, how's it going? Are you still working on it? Because you set a goal. And the cool thing about accountability is it's you deciding to share with somebody else so that you can meet your own expectations. That's it. It's only for you. So if it doesn't work for you, don't do it. But for me, for example, I will tell someone, hey, I have a personal goal. This is really important to me. I have a business goal. Like I am doing a lot of networking and business outreach.
you've been killing that.
And it makes me a little nervous sometimes, as social as I am, talking to new people, doing things in this way. I never want to come off as salesy. I actually want to help people. So I tell you, I want to get X number of meetings this week. Or something as simple as I want to talk to X number of people in public. Like not at a networking, not at a work thing, just strike up conversations with strangers because that's going to help me. And me telling you that that's something I want to work on helps keep me accountable to something I want to work on. So that really helps me with challenges and setbacks, is just to have that accountability and the motivation of it. Almost feels like you don't have to do it alone.
Of course, I think me and you we both thrive in environments of other individuals and team members and stuff like that.
Community. That's just
Community.
human nature.
Yeah. My brain is running right now. I'm not gonna lie to you about Broski. Like I kind of want to go home and kind of keep playing with the recipe, but at the same time, it's like we got work to do. But
We got a full day of work, but you got all weekend that you can absolutely work on Broki.
man, no, I think I love these episodes, these little brainstorming episodes where we actually talk about the delays and what's actually going into the product.
I just feel like so many people talk about the after the whole messy process, and they're like, yeah, look at this thing we made. And then you can talk about it in retrospect, like, oh yeah, I had challenges, I had setbacks.
Yeah.
It was so hard, but look where I am now.
You ever realize like the setbacks are like, so the recipe, yes, it's like the most crucial part to have about this product, right?
Yeah.
But it isn't like the fun part. Like the fun part was like creating the logo, creating like the brand.
Oh yeah, the fun part's gonna be going out to barbershops and getting people to test it out and working with influencers.
I was like, and my brain is like, I just gotta get through this. Like, let's just build a really good base product, give it to a laboratory, pay some money, they can refine the recipe, and then we can go from there. We need to have that base recipe.
Well, because we talk about this all the time in our business, that it doesn't matter. Branding can get you really far now.
But if the product sucks,
you're going to get that initial customer and no one is going to purchase it again.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean,
we want to build lifetime customers.
Recurring customers.
Yeah.
Client retention is the most important thing about business.
And so that means starting right here, right now with a good formula.
If one of you guys want to pre-order this Broki, in about 6 months from now, we will send you the plan.
Wow. No. We might want to. What is that about accountability? No, but at some point, we're not going to say when, we are going to open up pre-orders, and that'll be also just another test for us to see what works and what doesn't. But right now, we're going to focus on getting the formula nailed down.
You know, today was our first time having a live studio audience. I want to introduce our guest, if that's okay with you.
Oh my gosh, we do have a live studio audience.
Casey, do you mind if...
Come on. Hi.
Want to say hi?
Good. Hi.
This is our
Harley.
live studio audience.
Yeah, Harley has been really good. It's been so quiet the whole time, even though
drinks-
Harley is part husky and likes to talk.
And play. And she likes coffee.
All right, guys, if you like this kind of content, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below if you are having any struggles or if you've had to pivot on your business journey recently. I'm going to try to stay focused and not on the cute dog. Thank you, guys, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.